to a new series I'm doing on the channel called TF2 How I Play, or T-Fortress 2 How I Play, I guess. Now, this series is basically just showing you guys how I play every class in TF2, so in total there'll be 9 videos originally, and then most likely I'll have an alternative setup that I play, because with Demoman that you're seeing here, I don't always just play with my my loose cannon and the shield and stuff. I do also play Demo Knight occasionally. I have done rather well with Demo Knight before in a couple different matches, which I was really surprised about because I was expecting to just die a whole bunch. But oh well. As I said, I'm playing Demoman today, and we're using the loose cannon, the Splendid screening, and I actually can't remember what the sword is that I'm using. My guess is it'll probably be the Island, but it's difficult to tell without looking at it. It'll be in the description, and it'll be on the little end slate thing I've made for this. It's a pretty good setup that I like using. There's a lot of sort of variation we can have here. Oh, and the last weapon isn't Islander. That's from my Doomsday thing. It's the Caber, the explosive Caber, which is an amazing weapon, as much as it is rather irritating to play against, because I played against it before. Because that weapon is essentially one-hit kill to most classes. The only classes that can really survive it are Heavy, Soldier, and I think possibly Demoman as well, although I'm not sure about that. Because it's very easy to kill scouts and spies and NGs with that Caber, and it's very easy to kill most classes when you're in a close, confined space. And the Splendid screening in combination with that makes you very dangerous at close range, and the Splendid screen also allows you to get around the map very quickly, so you can get out of danger as well, which is an amazing feature. So you can just run away if you need to. But the Caber by itself is just a great weapon. And the downside is, obviously, it deals damage to you as well, but if you're standing next to a health pack, or you get the drop on somebody, generally you're more okay with it. But if you drop to low health and then you try and use the Caber, it can be very risky. Which I have done before, and I have killed myself multiple times with the Caber trying to get a kill. And it's so irritating, especially. I'm not sure if it's in this recording that's going on now or not, but there was one time where I smacked a wall with the Caber, missing a soldier, and blew myself up, which was probably one of the most infuriating moments I've ever had. Because you're in close combat, the soldier doesn't know you're there, and you go to hit them with the Caber and you miss and hit the wall behind them and just blow yourself up. So the Caber definitely does have downsides, and that is the fact that it kills you most of the time. Although, generally, if you can take somebody out while you're doing it, it is good, as long as you're not charging into a crowd of people, blowing up and killing like one of them, and letting the other two just walk straight through and like cap your point or something. Then it can be rather dumb, and you probably should have used the loose cannon, which is the primary weapon that I've got on this setup. I choose to use the loose cannon over something like the lock and load, which is supposedly a better weapon, just because of the sort of the way the loose cannon works, the fact that you can charge it up and then it detonates quicker, and you can bounce it around walls really easy, and you can generally predict the trajectory of the cannonballs. It makes the weapon so much more better for me to use, I feel, because I feel like I have a lot more skill with something like the loose cannon than something like the lock and load, which is essentially the direct hit for the Demoman. And I hate using the direct hit on the soldier because splash damage and being able to sort of bounce your shots around corners are so much more helpful, in my opinion, because it allows you to basically hurt somebody without them even knowing where you are most of the time, because you can just bounce a shot around a corner and you can kill somebody and they never even know where you came from. It's such a more useful tool in comparison, for me at least. I know a lot of people are very good with the lock and load, play against a lot of people who use the lock and load, and it is a very good weapon because that one shot kill thing is amazing for the most part. But to me, the loose cannon is just the better weapon. That it has so many more opportunities that you can get kills with, and so many different ways you can do that, because you can just bounce the shot around the corner, you can charge it up in close range and have it explode in their face, and you deal damage from hitting them and it exploding, which is very useful. And just that knockback ability is also very useful when you're defending somewhere, because you can just shoot through a doorway and just keep knocking people back so they can't get in. So it forces them to choose another way around, which could be guarded by a sentry from one of your NG buddies. So the loose cannon is an amazing weapon, for me at least. I know some people seem to not like using it too much, but I do, personally. And the secondary weapon, I haven't really spoken about the Splendid screen, and is probably one of the best shields in the game other than the Tide Turner, because of that charge damage bonus that it has. I know the charging charge is better for the damage protection it gives you, but when I'm playing something like Demoman or Soldier or NG or Pyro, I like to be more offensive than sort of defensive in a sense. I know the charging target allows you to still be like attacking somebody, but it doesn't give you the increased damage bonus of the Splendid screen when you hit somebody with it, which is insanely useful in my opinion. I love using it, and I've got quite a few kills with the Splendid screen. To me, that shield is probably the best thing other than the Tide Turner, and the only reason the Tide Turner is better is because it allows you to have control of the way you're going. Like, that does seem like a better option, but I haven't got the Tide Turner yet, so I'll be using the Splendid screen. I probably will do a new video if I get the Tide Turner, so there might be like 3 Demoman videos in the end. But I probably will if I get Tide Turner, because that seems like an insanely good shield. The fact that it allows you to control that you're charging to rather than being stuck in a straight line. As I've spoken before, I've had success with these weapons and this setup before, and I quite like using it. Probably one of the most successful moments I had was, I think it was 49 to like 30 something deaths. I know it doesn't seem great, but I was playing on Frontier. We got to one point where they were pushing the cart up the hill, and there's a little doorway and a stone walkway that goes over the goes over the top. Probably will see it during the video. I'm not sure if I recorded that match, I don't think I did. But just, there's one area where I think is it red team or blue team? Blue team has 2 ways to come out, I think. And you can shoot the loose cannon into one of them, and they just get stuck. You just bounce them around in this doorway and they can't move. And then there's the lower walkway, which if you have a good enough team can just be completely locked down. So basically you can stick the blue team in their spawn if you get to the right position quick enough as Demoman with this setup. I know getting a team stuck in the spawn is kind of a cheaty move, and it's kind of a dick thing to do, but it is quite useful when you're playing something like Payload, because if you can push them back and you can hold them in one place for long enough, that gives your team a massive advantage against them. Because if you can stop them pushing that cart, you can take the game, essentially. Outside of that, a pretty fun game. Speaking about the demo night plays I made on that one match, I think I went 11 to 4. I joined towards the end of Badwater Basin with one of my friends, and he basically asked me to come and help him out because his team wasn't doing so well. So I joined the game and I just ran around this demo night, just killing spies and NGs and stuff that were trying to get around the back of us. And it was a lot of fun. I don't think the spies necessarily saw me coming to begin with, and then they started figuring out where I was and what I was doing. I don't think I got backstabbed. I think the spies generally became a distraction, and then the soldiers came in and murdered me. It was still a lot of fun. So, the maps that I've found that this setup is best to be used on is Frontier, definitely. Frontier's a lot of fun. Badwater Basin is very good. I think that's the recording that's going on in the background. And Frontier will be the recording that's going on in the background. Badwater Basin is the engineer video that you guys will see later on. So yeah, Badwater Basin, Frontier, because they're the maps I've been playing a lot recently, so I know this setup is rather good on those maps. I've also been recently playing on another map that I forgot the name of, but it'll be there, trust me. It's okay on there. I have found that playing Pyro is very good on that map as well. And there will be a Pyro video as well at some point, because I started playing Pyro again because I got a bot killer flamethrower. So now I got back into Pyro and I'm quite enjoying it. I have sort of gone into the WM1 thing, which I know a lot of people don't like, but it's very easy to get kills with Pyro doing it. So other than those three maps that are very good to play demo on, I will sort of go through and I'll play through other maps, and I'll update the description where the maps are best to use on. And I'll put that in the description and let you guys know which maps I found is best to use on. Obviously Frontier and Badwater Basin are great. Any map really with a lot of tight corners or hallways is amazing to use the loose cannon in. Lots of open areas probably isn't the best thing for the loose cannon. You can still get kills with it and you can fire over targets. It's still an effective weapon. Not as effective as it is in a close quarters environment, where you can just bounce your things off the walls or you can hit your targets directly and deal a lot more damage. So generally, this setup is better used on maps that are close quarters, where it's very easy for you to hit your targets. I know that's not so much a problem for a lot of players, but the corridors and enclosed environments really help with the loose cannon, because it can be so much easier to hit a target with in a smaller environment than it is in a wide open one, like a lot of the orange maps are that I've played on a few times. So yeah. Alternatives to the setup, obviously, like I was saying before, using the tide turner in place of the Splendid screening, if you've got that, might be quite a good change. Obviously my other alternative is I play Demoman, obviously, Demo Knight, with the Charge and Targe and the Islander, because I've got festive variants, so I like using them. So I use those two with the I think this is the bootleg, which is the other piece to the tide turner. It's the pirate leg and stuff. That's quite good, and it gives you the same buffs as the tide turner, but obviously it takes away your primary. Another alternative I've used in the past is the Alibaba's Wee Booties sticky bomb launcher and an Islander. Now that setup isn't necessarily one that will get you a lot of kills, and it's not necessarily a good setup. It's definitely for use if you just want to mess around, you just want to have a bit of fun with the Demoman, you know, you want to fly around the map and decapitate some people with your Islander. Kinda cool. And I wouldn't blame you if you did. I tried it out before. I was not very good with it. With some practice, I imagine I'd be better, and also with a better choice of map rather than something like Badwater Basin, where there's only really one area where you can jump over your enemies. Well, two, I suppose. There's the end and the beginning, and everything in between is a corridor, essentially. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for alternatives to this setup. I prefer using the loose cannon over most grenade launchers, simply because of its advantages in those close quarter environments and round corners. The Splendid screening can also be replaced with the tide turner, as I said before. It could also be changed out for the charge and targe if that's your preference. Other than that, the Caber is probably the best melee weapon in the game, simply because of that insane damage. The only downside is you have to pay attention to your health while you're using it. I would recommend using it more in sort of last chance situations, where if you don't do something, you're going to die anyway. So just hitting them with the Caber is probably your best weapon. It's insanely useful against scouts in those close quarter environments, because chances are your loose cannon is going to cause more damage to you in that situation than it is to the scout. So you're better off just getting the Caber out, smacking it around the head. It explodes. You could survive because you have more health. You also might not, it depends. I did get quite lucky, I think it's in this recording actually, where I hit a scout and I was in a room with a health pack, so I could just go and grab health. So that was really useful. So basically, you just have to be aware of your surroundings when you're using the caber and pay attention to what you're doing. But it is an insanely useful weapon. This setup is really good, in my opinion, especially on, obviously, those close quarter environment maps. If you want to change it out and play on more long distance maps, I suppose you could change out the loose cannon for the lock and load, possibly, because its advantages of bouncing it around corners and stuff isn't necessarily as useful on wide open maps. Something like the lock and load, where you can hit them once and just explode them, could be quite a lot more useful than obviously the loose cannon, which if you hit them once with it, they've got a lot of room to move, so they can probably get out of the way of your cannonball, so there's no harm in swapping out the loose cannon in some more open maps. But other than that, the next video will probably be the NG, or the Engineer, because I've already got that one recorded, and I quite enjoy playing Engineer, especially with this setup. There will be a lot of alternative videos, most likely, because I don't have necessarily one set way to play a class. As I said before, I play Demo Knight on Demoman, and obviously I have that weird jumping Demo Knight thing, whatever that is. I don't know. The only class I generally don't have an alternative to playing would probably be Spy, although there is multiple alternatives to play, but generally I prefer to have Dead Ringer, something like the Spicicle, or just a plain knife, because they're quite useful. Well, I'll speak more about that in the Spy video, obviously, not the Demoman one. So yeah, if you like this setup, feel free to, use it, change it up if you want to. Send me your suggestions in the description. If you have a better setup that I could use, let me know. I'll try it out, maybe I'll make a video on that as an alternative. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this format. I'm trying something a little new here, rather than I was doing before where I had very unstructured things. It was basically me babbling for 18 minutes. I've decided to go with a bullet pointed list of things I want to talk through, rather than a script, because I feel like a script is much more, it's too forced. It doesn't flow well with an audience, I feel like this does. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video in the background. I quite enjoyed playing on Frontier. Frontier is an amazing map, and I generally play on it with my guys from college, because we play a lot of TF2 together. There will be videos on that other map I still can't remember the name of, probably me playing Pyro. There might be some 2 Fort video coming up soon. I'm not sure what class I'll be playing on there. I probably won't be playing NG, although I do quite like playing NG on 2 Fort. The other alternative might be Spy, or Pyro, or Soldier, or another class. You guys will have to wait and see. Thank you guys for watching. See you all next time.